This is San Diego News Daily.
Hello and welcome to San Diego News Daily. I'm Dana Williams. We are beginning the second week of war with Iran with no signs of a slowdown. The remains of these 6 United States service members killed in Kuwait at the start of what's being dubbed Operation Epic Fury are now back on U.S. soil. Among them, Chief Warrant Officer Robert Marzan from Sacramento during a dignified transfer ceremony at Dover Air Force Base in Delaware, a prayer and salute for each one of the coffins. They will be positively identified by an armed forces medical examiner and prepared for burial and, of course, final respects. And back here at home, a group of San Diegans, many of them veterans, are hoping what they say sways the president's opinion on the war in Iran. NBC 7's Jeanette Casana was at Memorial Community Park where protesters gathered to express their opposition to the war.
Many of the veterans we talked with today say they don't understand why the U.S. is involved in the war in Iran. They joined dozens of protesters calling for an end to the military operations there.
It seems pointless. They changed the reason for aggression against Iran daily.
Forrest Gray was among dozens of protesters who gathered at Memorial Community Park in Logan Heights Saturday, calling for an end to the war in Iran. Seeing the conflict play out is personal for him. Gray served 8 years in the U.S. Army and was on the front lines in the Middle East.
We kind of expect and accept that we're going to put our lives on the line. Ideally, it should be for a sense of the greater good, and I don't see what greater good there is here.
Gray is not alone. Jonathan Chavez, who served in the U.S. Marine Corps at Miramar Base in San Diego, also disagrees with the U.S. involvement in Iran.
No one wants these wars. No one has asked for these wars. Public opinion in this country is also very clear. The vast majority of Americans do not support these conflicts.
Some Iranian Americans took a different stance last week as hundreds of them took the streets of Claremont.
It was a feeling of euphoria, knowing that my people are free, knowing that a dictator that has ruled Iran with iron fist for well over 37 years has been killed, has been pushed out of the power, and we can have a democratic Iran. No war on Iran!
Despite the sentiment, Saturday's protest was hosted by an organization opposed to war in the Middle East. They used signs and chants to make their stance clear.
From the belly of the beast, hands off the Middle East.
Stop the war in Iran. Watching from a distance, we found Marine Corps veteran Chris Mundestin. Even though he was not part of the protest, he also opposes the war, saying the conflict should stay between Iran and Israel, and the U.S. should stay out of it.
It's real scary. It's real scary because a lot of people, I know there's a lot of people that are truly against this war, but they don't have much of a voice. That's why I was kind of happy to see this, because we do have a voice.
He also worries for the effects this war can have on our country's safety, economy, and relationship with countries in the Middle East.
Stop the war. Reinvest into our communities. And I don't mean just San Diego, but all across the country.
Jeanette Quesada, NBC 7.
And the war is sending oil and gasoline prices skyrocketing, and indicators are that they could get even more expensive soon. Here in San Diego, the average price of regular is now $5.20 a gallon. That's up 6 cents from yesterday, but up 51 cents since the war started. We're also paying about 5 cents more than the rest of the state and $1.80 more than the national average. And looking ahead to tomorrow, arraignment is scheduled for the East County bishop accused of money laundering and embezzlement. Authorities say Bishop Emmanuel Shaletta was arrested at the airport Thursday trying to leave the country. According to an article which covers issues related to the Catholic Church, Shaletta is accused of misusing money from a property rented out by the church. It's also believed he frequented a brothel in Tijuana. He's expected in court Monday afternoon. Our NBC 7 meteorologist will have a look at your weather right after this.
On January 22nd, I got a phone call from my daughter.
Rolling.
All right. She said, "Mom, the water's already waist high," and we were all scrambling.
There's been 2 wildfires that have come through. We were able to watch NBC 7, and we knew that as long as they were there, we were going to be okay.
We're going to be here. We're going to keep an eye on things.
Because of you guys, they acted.
This is the source of all of this neighborhood's problems.
Everything can be so unpredictable, and we rely on this coverage.
And that's a tornado warning.
Happy Sunday. Taking a live look here over Mount San Miguel, looking south. Beautiful start to the day. It's going to be a breezy one, though. We still have those Santa Ana winds back in the forecast for your Sunday. And here is a look at that wind advisory that will stay in place through 5 p.m. Still covering the valleys, the mountain communities. Take a look at this. Northeasterly to easterly winds, about 20 to 30 miles per hour sustaining. Those winds could still gust up to 55 miles per hour. But again, expiring as we get into about 5 o'clock tonight. Now, here is a look at the wind gusts and directions. So first, starting over those mountains, this is looking ahead to this afternoon around 2 o'clock. Those wind gusts up to about 30, 40 miles per hour, but same deal as you get into some of your valleys like Ramona, Alpine for commuters along the 8. And you can see the difference between those valleys, the mountains, and the coastline, because for those coastal communities, we have that northwesterly to westerly flow. But going into about 6 o'clock, after that advisory does expire, those wind gusts are going to start to calm down a bit over those higher elevations and the valleys. Still could be a bit breezy by that point for the coast. Even though we're not under the advisory there today, some of those winds could reach 30 miles per hour periodically. Daytime highs, it is going to be a warm end to your weekend. So for the beaches, mid 70s up to about the mid 80s, just depending on where you're at. We have those 80s back for your inland valleys as well. And then 60s and 70s over your mountains. Again, windy, even gusty at times between those mountains and valleys. Mid 80s today over your desert region. But changes on the way as we look ahead to tomorrow already. So you can actually see here with your future weather pattern, this low pressure system to our south over Baja going to continue to move northeast. And it's going to bring increased cloud cover for us locally and the chance for some rain. You can see some moisture, some outer bands there starting to move north. And if we do see the rain with this system, it's definitely going to be on the lighter end. It passes through fairly quickly. This is a look at that futurecast rainfall. Not a whole lot. I would say maybe the highest amount, close to 1/10 of an inch, close to maybe 1/4 of an inch, depending on where you are. But closer to the coast, definitely not going to be a huge rainmaker. Same deal will go for portions of our valleys. More changes as we get into this upcoming week. In addition to that rainfall, the chances at least, you can see those temperatures are going to drop off a little bit. Upper 60s for the coast, Monday, Tuesday, close to that for the inland valleys. By Wednesday, we start to warm up again, and then we continue to go up from there Thursday and Friday. I'm talking the possibility of 80s once again at the coast, 90s by that point for the inland valleys. And even though those temperatures cool down a little bit by next weekend, we're still going to be trending above seasonal averages as of right now. And here's a preview of your week for the mountains. 50s as we get into Monday, Tuesday, 60s by Wednesday, back to the 70s we go Thursday, Friday. We could be even warmer than that going into next weekend. Same deal for the desert region, getting a break from the heat over the next couple of days, but it quickly rebuilds as we look ahead to Thursday, Friday, even Saturday and Sunday, Dana.
And today is International Women's Day. Here in San Diego, one North County group celebrated early with skateboarding. Take a look. Exposure Skate hosted a free event for young girls to learn to skateboard inside a private Olympic training facility in Vista. They all went through skateboard training and put together donations for community resource centers. The group says 118 people ages 4 through 16 took part in the event, which is a new record. And there's more coverage you can count on at NBC7.com. And you can always find us on your Roku or your Samsung Smart TV app. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Dana Williams.